Next week, that's when the oil spill in Bayou Lafourche is expected to be cleaned up. Once the oil is gone, the parish will figure out what happens next. As Mike McDaniel explains, parish leaders say they have no major concerns about long-term impacts.
To folks in Lafourche Parish like Scarlett Conway, the bayou that slowly flows through their home has always been a part of life.
Even as a child, I can remember them blowing the whistles from the tugboats.
Her memories of the bayou will now include an oil spill. As a lifelong resident, Conway worries what the impacts to life here will be.
It's always been part of our culture. You don't have never known a life without the bayou here.
Over the weekend, more than 34,000 gallons of crude oil spilled out of the Crescent Midstream facility in Raceland. It flowed into a drainage ditch and into Bayou Lafourche.
We know about half of it was captured inside of the facility, and we think about another 400 or so gallons would hit the bayou.
Parish President Archie Chasson says most of the oil is contained and expects cleanup to be finished next week.
It's mess, it smells, and it spreads out.
Retired LSU environmental sciences professor Edward Overton says this spill has a lot of best-case scenarios.
It's offshore crude oil, which is generally a fairly light crude oil. Light meaning it will readily evaporate.
A former chemist for NOAA's Emergency Response Division during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010, Overton says favorable weather has also played a role. He's not connected to the Lafourche spill, but says response and cleanup efforts are textbook.
The responders are getting in with vacuum devices and sucking it off the water. And that's about all they can do.
As crews clear out oil-soaked vegetation and try to prevent any more animals from dying, Chasson says the parish is working to figure out what happens next.
And we're working with the EPA and the company's toxicologists to make sure that there are no long-term impacts.
Overton expects any long-term impacts to be minimal. He says the oil hasn't mixed with the environment enough to create any.
There will be residual areas. The good news is that oil is very biodegradable. And so the natural bacteria in those swampy areas will degrade the oil over time.
For folks living through it, they just want time to hurry up.
It's heartbreaking because it's never been like this. I've never seen the bayou like this.
Mike McDaniel, WWL, Louisiana.
Drinking water and air quality are being checked regularly. So far, there haven't been any issues with either.